Yeah, we back again with another episode of Black Men Holding They Nuts. Now, in this episode, we're going to talk about, we got news straight coming out of West Africa, Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso has followed in the steps of Mali. In case you didn't know, I put out that video about 2 months ago, something like that. It was entitled, Mali has banned French NGOs, French military, French media, and the French ambassador. And now Burkina Faso, which I believe is a neighboring country, I believe they share a border. Correct me in the comment section if I'm incorrect. And they have now followed in the footsteps. And I'm about to get into the article, man. This article coming straight from CNN. The article is entitled, Burkina Faso's military government demands French troops leave the country within 1 month. The military government of Burkina Faso has demanded the departure of French troops from the country, according to the government press agency, Agence d'Information de Burkina. France has exactly 1 month to remove its troops from Burkina Faso, according to the terms of the 2018 agreement. The military government denounced last Wednesday the agreement, which has governed since 2018, the presence of the French armed forces on its territory. France still has 400 special forces based in Burkina Faso, according to Reuters, to help fight, quote-unquote, the Islamist militants linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State after years of violence in the region. On Friday, residents in the capital took to the streets to protest the presence of French troops inside the country. Videos from the protest showed protesters carrying signs with the slogans, French Army, get out of our house. Some protesters carried the national flags of Burkina Faso and Russia. France, the former colonial power in the region, first entered the Sahel in January 2013 at Mali's request and launched Operation Serval, a UN-sanctioned ground and air operation against the Islamist militants. The mission was succeeded in August 2014 by Operation Barkhane, a broader French anti-terror initiative targeting Islamists across the entire Sahel region, including Burkina Faso. French President Emmanuel Macron announced in June 2021 that the mission would be replaced by a more international effort, and Western troops began withdrawing from Mali in February last year, though they remain in Burkina Faso. On January 24, 2022, Burkina Faso's army seized power, deposed the former president, and dissolved the government and parliament. The military suspended the constitution and closed borders. Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Damiba was installed as the West African country's new leader. Damiba's time in power proved short-lived, however, as he was ousted from the country's top position during a coup d'etat in October 2022. Army Captain Ibrahim Traoré was subsequently appointed as the country's new president. Now, let's get into it, man. Up on the screen, I got a picture of the leader of Mali to the right, the one who demanded that the French military, French media, French ambassador leave about a year ago. And to the left, we have Ibrahim Traoré, the current leader of Burkina Faso, who now has followed in the footsteps of the Mali leader, calling for the expulsion of all French troops from the national territory. Now, the reason why I like to cover stories like these is because when we talk about geopolitics, especially as it relates to black countries, we always make it seem like, you know, you guys love the victim mentality. You guys always make it seem like the United States and France and Great Britain are all powerful and black men are just, you know, we can never stand up to the superior Europeans. You know, you guys love the victim mentality when in all reality, black men control these countries. These foreign governments, these foreign corporations are a guest inside their house. There are guests inside the country, and at any given time, just like if you own a property, you can tell the tenants, you can tell the guests, get the hell out of my house. Black men who are in charge of these black nations, we can at any given moment tell the West, tell the United States, tell France, tell Great Britain, tell any colonial power who we are not compatible with politically to get the hell out of our house. As black men, you have the right to govern your country any way you see fit, just like any other group of men, Now, of course, your decisions may come with certain consequences, like I've mentioned before. In fact, I dropped a video the other day entitled, Why Do Black Leaders Sell Out? This is the reason. I dropped that a few days ago or sometime last week. And I gave the reason why black leaders typically cooperate with the West, because they do not want to be overthrown. They do not want to be assassinated. They want their children to have access to nice things like being able to go to the United States and go to Harvard, go to Yale, go to Princeton, things like that. They want to be able to travel to Europe and things like that. They want to be able to have certain bank accounts in foreign nations, things like that. But when you take certain decisions, like when you tell the French government to get the hell out, you know what I'm saying? You have to understand the French government has certain allies like the United States, like other European colonial powers. Here's the thing. All the colonial powers that got rich during the transatlantic slave trade, they are all working together to maintain the empires that they have built, right? The same way the United States works with France, and the United States works with Britain, and the United States works with all the colonial powers that got rich during the slave trade. Me on my channel, I call these group of nations, I call them the colonial mafia, right? So Burkina Faso has to understand, once you tell France to kick rocks and go to hell, go back home, you have to understand the United States, they're going to come up behind them to defend their boy, right? So you're going to be blacklisted from the United States, right? You're going to be sanctioned by the United States. You won't be able to travel to the United States. Your children won't be able to come to the United States. This is what you all have to take into account. And you might be overthrown, right? Like I said, the president of Mali, after he took those measures to remove all the French ambassadors, the French military, all the French personnel, even the French NGOs from the national territory of Mali, I told you there were, I think, 2 or 3 assassination attempts on his life, right? But he survived all of them. But you have to understand, the Burkina Faso leader has to understand this is what comes with that. And I'm sure that he's weighed in the options, he's weighed in the risks and the rewards already before making this decision, right? And I'm glad that Burkina Faso, as a neighboring country to Mali, has followed in their footsteps, because like I said in the video regarding Mali about a month ago, when a nation takes that type of stance against the Western powers, they cannot stand alone. It was like how Haiti took a stance against the Western powers 200 years ago, but they were forced to stand alone because nobody else was standing with them. A big reason that's not discussed about why Haiti is where it is today is because they took a political stance that nobody was willing to support, right? It was easy for the United States to grow economically in its early years because they were engaged in commerce with Europe, right? They had political relations with nations back in Europe. But when Haiti was coming of age, that same generation of the United States, right? I believe the United States got their independence 1776. Haiti got their independence about 30 years later, 1804, right? Haiti did not have the cooperation of other nations. They could not go back and reach back to Africa, right? Africa was unstable during that time, while the United States was able to trade and build relations with European nations, right? So when we fast forward to today and we see Mali take a groundbreaking step, a groundbreaking stance against the Western powers, telling the French colonial power to get the hell out of my house, pack your bags and kick rocks, I'm happy to see a neighboring country in Burkina Faso take the same stance, right? Because when the French military was kicked out of Mali, the first thing they did was move next door into Niger, right? The president of Niger, typical sellout, he agreed to allow the French colonial army, as I still call them, the French colonial army, to come set up shop within his borders right next door, right? So Burkina Faso to take a similar stand as Mali, right? I think that is good. The Sahel needs cooperation. This is the importance of Pan-Africanism, right? Because without Pan-Africanism, what you have is a bunch of nations standing alone, trying to fight a giant beast, which is the Western colonial system, right? Which is united. Like I said, the French and the Americans, they work together, and the British, they all united, they all allied together, right? So you're a little tiny nation on the continent trying to fight this huge beast like David and Goliath. But guess what? If the black nations work together, they cooperate together, just like they cooperate with the West, then it doesn't become David versus Goliath. Now it's 2 massive beasts fighting together, fighting to the death, right? So, like I said, Pan-Africanism is the only way forward. Cooperation is the only way forward. Unity is the only way forward. Burkina Faso told the French, nigga, get the hell out of my house. After Mali last year told the French, get the hell out of my house. I hope to see more countries in the Sahel tell the French, get the hell out of my house. And right now, in case you haven't been following, there's a large anti-French sentiment that's been brewing in French West Africa. That's why you shouldn't be surprised when you see nations like Mali and Burkina Faso taking these stances, because from the grassroots all the way up to the top, there's a large anti-French sentiment in West Africa. They are sick and tired of the French. They are sick and tired of the French. In fact, in my videos, I've discussed how nuclear energy, the uranium found in West Africa, is used to provide electricity to the citizens of France. Meanwhile, citizens of West Africa deal with unstable electricity infrastructure, right? Why must the people of West Africa suffer so the people of France can live in luxury, right? But I understand life is a competition. Everybody's looking out for themselves. So honestly, salute to their brothers in Mali and Burkina Faso for looking out for themselves and telling the French government, pack your bags, kick rocks, and don't come back. It's your boy Neferkari Desalegn back in the building. Yes, indeed. Like, share, subscribe, Cash App in the description. And I'm gone. Peace.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in that ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and in power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling the tension. Enemy watching, he blocking my vision. Pay for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young Money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage, I got business. This is an art, and they can never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you ain't caught. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so elite. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with brands, cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.